Spit bars, I stand behind mine. Yeah. Sentences I serve, maximize guidelines. My lawyer can't give me his advice when these beasts that I murder carry mandatory minimums of life. Yikes. In case you didn't get the point, we spit bars.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Maximum Sentence, where there's conviction behind the bars. I'm your man AJ Throwback. Great to be here with you on another awesome Wednesday, where we are breaking down a brand new song from my debut EP, The Late Bloomer. This week we are breaking down the opening track called The Listening Party. But before we go any further, if this is your first time watching The Maximum Sentence or any of my content right here on YouTube, please make sure that you like, comment, share, and of course subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that bell notification so that whenever I go live, premiere a new video, post a new video, you'll be among the first to know. Now that we got that part out of the way, of course we always got to show love to those who show love to our platform. So let's go ahead and get to some comments right now. So the first comment actually comes from Cleva Thoughts. Shout out to my sis. She says, awesome insight. Continue to speak on topics of substance. I'm watching. And this particular comment came regarding my post about loner's remorse, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you so much for your comment, Cleva Thoughts. The next comment comes from my big bro, Lonnie Wiggins, who says, in a serious relationship where love is real and laid raw, that is singularly the one place that allows for one of the strongest traits to exist and survive, and that trait is one of vulnerability. For to love someone is to make oneself be able to drop those emotional barriers and walls and lay bare all of the secrets we hold close and be open and free to our loved one, and not fear what that exposure can or will result in by being laid naked before them, and fear what in our mind tells us will bring forth consequences. Takes time to get there. Amen, brother. I really appreciate that comment. The next comment comes from my sis, Jukeboxx. She says, it's incredible to see how insightful you are about your upbringing. I think that is so important to heal from what has harmed you and to have a healthy life. I commend you for doing that necessary work to get where you are today. Wonderful breakdown. I am super inspired. Thank you so much for that. And the work continues. I am a work in progress, and I think anybody who is in my position will say the same thing. But thank you so much for your comment. And the last comment actually comes from my brother Slim Chance on IG. He is I Am Legend Slim. Please make sure y'all check out his music as well. Dope music. He says, you gained a fan, bro. Your music, the truth, genuinely speaking. Thank you so much for that, and thank you to everybody who has listened to the EP so far, who has bought the EP so far. Definitely appreciate all the support. If you haven't bought the EP, please make sure that you go to my website, BAMMLLC.net/music, to go get your copy of it today. From there, you can connect with all of the other platforms, including Bandcamp, where you can get 4 bonus tracks. And my Bandcamp, if you want to go directly there, is ajthrowback.bandcamp.com. That has been the hot spot where everybody has been primarily buying the music because people want those bonus tracks, you know what I mean? So definitely appreciate all the support. Now, let's go ahead and get into breaking down The Listening Party. Like I said, this is the opening track to the album. It was very important for me to open this album with something that really kind of sort of gives the feel of the need to be listened to, because a lot of times we as artists, that's one of the main things that we need. Like, without an audience, I mean, we're just basically talking to ourselves. So there's a part in the first verse, the last couple of bars in the first verse, where I say, there's a warmth in his aura, a fire in his spirit, knowing there's a chance nobody could hear it. The masterpiece that took several years in overcoming dreaded fears. Friends thinking, man, his words should be good enough to get him here. And those bars are significant because for a very long time as an artist, I didn't really believe that people would want to listen to me. I didn't really believe that my words were worthy of being listened to. I didn't believe that I was worthy of people coming out to actually hear what I have to say, because I had gotten so used to being the listener, which we'll get to momentarily. But it's the whole thing of knowing that there's a chance that I could sit here and I could create this great album, or I could sit here and I could put together this listening party and invite all of these people to come out, and there's a chance people might not come out, that nobody would show up other than my A1s. You know what I'm saying? I expect my A1s to show up. And I think that's really the setup, is that earlier in the verse, is that you have my friends sitting around, like my closest friends, my dogs. They sitting around, they there. But it's welcoming those new fans, those new people who are going to come in and appreciate what I bring in terms of my artistry, in terms of who I am, my personality, and what I bring to the table that's different from what they're used to hearing. So the whole thing of saying the masterpiece that took several years and overcoming dreaded fears, you sit there and you bust your butt to make this creation that you treat like a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like as if you're having a baby, and you go through this painful process of birthing it, of carrying it around with you. And no, it's not actually physically carrying around a baby, but the amount of blood and sweat and tears that you put into this music, that you put into this art, if you're somebody who actually takes your craft seriously, like I do, the amount of effort and energy and time that you put into it, and that you take away from a lot of other things in order to create this art. Part of the dreaded fears is not just what I'm talking about in the music, but also the dreaded fear of feeling like I could sit here and do all of this and nobody shows up. Nobody cares enough to want to really give it a good listen. That's a real fear that I feel like most artists have when it comes to creating music. And so it's very important in this song to lay out the whole thing of, I got to stay calm no matter what. I have to stay level-headed no matter what. I have to know that God placed me on this path of creating this music, and it's going to be for somebody. It might not be for 100,000 people out the gate, but it's going to be for somebody. And then getting to the very last bar of the verse where I say, friends thinking, man, his words should be good enough to get him here. And the thing is, your words are never good enough to get you in the spaces where you feel like you belong as an artist, because it's so much deeper than the art. It's so much deeper than your words. It's so much deeper than the sentiment. You have to put in even more effort in order to bring people to you, to get them to the Greek, so to say. You have to be savvy enough to get in those spaces in order and connect with people, because that's a huge amount of being able to connect with an audience, especially new people, is that you got to put yourself out there. That's number one. Number two, you got to be able to connect with people, to have those one-to-one conversations or those one-to-one connections with people and genuinely build a rapport with people. It's not enough that you're a talented rapper. It's not enough that you have these witty bars. It's not enough that you have these compelling stories. You have to do even more in order to get in front of more people than just the people you know, than just your friends, than just the people you know in your creative circles, than just the people you went to high school or college or whatever level of school with, than just the people in your neighborhood, than just the people at your job. Those people, you want those people to be part of your core supporters. But a lot of times, your core supporters are going to be people you don't know from a can of paint. That connects to a line in the third verse where I say, one person who was interested and didn't know me from a can of glitten didn't stop the man from listening. Okay, so I think it's very important to focus on the first two bars of the second verse. So I say, how does he smile when he's usually a snippy dude? Often it seems he's the last one they listen to. Those bars are very important because it speaks to a mindset that I've had to get out of as an artist. And beyond just being an artist, I've had to get out of that mindset as a person, because for years, like kind of sort of thinking about the rest of the verse, for years I was the guy who was doing the bulk of the listening. I was the guy who was doing the bulk of caring about other people's problems, issues, dreams, hopes, wishes, random thoughts that they might have. Like, I would stop everything I'm doing for other people. But a lot of times it felt like people wouldn't do the same thing for me. Like the moment it seemed like I'm about to get into the groove of like getting excited about whatever it is that I want to talk about, whether it was something that had to do with music, something that could do with family, something that could do with whatever random thought I might have had on my mind. At one time I was like really into sports or whatever. It could just be a program that I'm watching or some music that I'm really interested in. No matter what it is, I could just be ready to go. And the moment that I'm about to get in the stride of the conversation, oh, I got another call, let me hit you back. Person don't hit you back. How many times have we had people talk about, I'm gonna hit you back, they don't hit you back. And then completely forget the fact that you had a whole thought that you were ready to complete and you couldn't even complete it, and you just kind of left holding the bag while they got to get off everything that they wanted to say. It is one of the worst feelings and one of the most annoying feelings that I've had to learn over time not to get annoyed by, because it's just life. But at the same time, it does feel a little bit unfair or a little unbalanced. I mean, you know, I'm a Libra. So it's like everything is about balance. And when it feels like one person gets to say everything they want to say and the other person doesn't, it doesn't feel fair. And so a lot of times I would get mad about those things, or I would get my feelings about those things. And a lot of times, unfortunately, I wouldn't say anything about it. And I would harbor a certain amount of resentment, and I would feel like I wouldn't want to talk to people about whatever I had going on. I kept a lot of what I did to myself because I felt like people didn't really care enough to know. And so I had to get to a point, and I'm still working on this. This is something, frankly, that I worked through in therapy, you know, to be honest. And I work through within myself, and it's something I pray about, is not getting in my feelings when people seem like, because that's the key thing, when it seems like they don't have time to listen to whatever it is that I got going on, or they are not investing the amount of energy that I would like them to invest in what I'm talking about. That was a huge issue for me for a very long time. It was an issue in my friendships. Specifically, it was an issue in my marriage. And, you know, I regret raking my wife over the coals for it because I put so much pressure and so much weight in her lap to basically be my everything, to listen to whatever it is that I had to say. And a lot of times she had her own issues that she might have been dealing with. She might have had her own thoughts that she had on her mind. And it's not necessarily her job or anybody else's job to have that much energy or that much time invested into what I got going on. Because I can go. You know what I mean? Like, I can go when it comes to the stuff that I'm excited about. And I have to understand that that's life. It just is the way that it is. And it's okay, because that's another thing. It's about finding the people, finding your tribe or the people who get so excited about what you got going on that they stop whatever it is that they're doing, just like you would stop whatever it is that you're doing for them and what they got going on, to listen to how excited they are about whatever dream or whatever passion or whatever that they have going on. It could be good, it could be bad, no matter what it is. But they invest just as much time into you as you invest into them. And so that's why that's very important, setting up, specifically getting to the third verse. And so there's a lot, honestly, because the third verse, I forget how many bars is in the third verse. I think it's like 40. You know, I was doing Biggie numbers in that third verse, you know what I mean? But it was just because I got so wrapped up in the awesomeness of the story and telling the story and painting the picture of the encounter with this one person who decided, you know what, I heard about this show, or I heard about this listening party. I'm going to show up. I know I don't know the person from a can of paint, but I'm going to show up. I'm going to see what it's all about. And so I paint the picture. I perform the show for this one person. Now, granted, you know what I'm saying, I made it into a guy, but it could be a woman. It could be anybody. My thing is with that third verse and painting this picture and developing this intimate relationship with this one person who decided to take a chance on me, and telling my story and painting my picture and letting this person know exactly who I am through my art. This person became invested and became that one person who said, you know what, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to pay attention to you. I'm going to invest my energy and my time and my money into supporting you. And That's why it's very important to get to the particular lines that are the heart and the soul of the Late Bloomer itself. The whole project, not just this first EP, but the entire project. Every song that's a part of the project, the ones that came out, the ones that didn't. There's an overarching theme to it. And that overarching theme is what the one person hypothetically says to me. What they say, even if I'm late to the party, I can still dance. But I gotta make it to the party for a real chance. And the importance of that is that no matter what presents as a delay, it's not really a delay. It's still on time because it's on God's time. A lot of times when we try to set a time standard or when we try to set a timetable or a deadline, it's good to have a schedule. It's good to have a plan. But the beauty about when you let God take control of your plans is that God is always going to amend those plans and adjust the timetable so that certain things can be prepared for you, a table being prepared for you to be able to feast at, figuratively and literally. So for me, when I first started this project, as you've seen from the behind the scenes stuff from the Diary of a Late Bloomer, that footage specifically for this song, that footage is from over 5 years ago at this point. When I first set out to record this project in 2017, I wanted it to be out by 2018. Here it is, 2022. It's just now coming out. And it's not even coming out in the way that I intended for it to come out. I intended for it to come out as a complete project, as an album. This was supposed to be my debut album. But because of certain things that got in the way, it ended up having to be split into 2 EPs. And so not only did it get split into 2 EPs, but it came out 4 years after I wanted it to come out. And so in that time, it was a matter of me going through certain things, a spiritual inner war, to be honest, where I had to be okay with the delay. And I had to be okay with not sticking the landing, so to say, in the way that I originally practiced it, in the way that I originally envisioned it. Like when I say I wrote everything down, I wrote everything down. But it still didn't go according to plan. But the goal was always to make sure that it came out. There was no way that I was going to sit there and make all of these beats and write all of these rhymes and spend all of this time in the studio for years and not put this stuff out. And God was getting with me the entire time, like, you so worried about the time instead of worrying about the timing. I need y'all to hear that again. God got with me and said, you so worried about the time instead of worrying about the timing. There's a specific timing to releasing this project. You couldn't have put this out in 2018 and had the impact that it did. Because when you really think about it, when I think about it, and this is just me being transparent in this moment, in 2018, when I planned on putting this project out, I did not have the influence that I had. I did not know the amount of people that I know beyond school, beyond my friends, my core group of friends. I know so many more people in 2022 than I did in 2018. Because between 2017 and 2018, I was in radio, but I was only 9 months in at that point. And I knew people, but I didn't know as many people as I know now. Having 5 years of radio at this point, meeting so many different artists and so many different people, because it's not just artists. I've met a whole lot of different people in that time. And because I developed these relationships, I was able to build and widen my fan base so much bigger than I would have if I would have put the project out when I planned on putting it out. So God always knows better when it comes to time. And that's why the lines, even if I'm late to the party, I can still dance. I can still do my thing. I can still get down. But I gotta make it to the party for a real chance. I have to actually go there. I can't give up. I can't say, oh, it's not happening on my time, so it's never gonna happen. oh, it's not falling in the place that I want it to fall into place, so I might as well not do it. No, you gotta go regardless. If God puts the assignment on your heart and tells you this is what you're meant to do, that is bigger than you, because the thing about this project is so much bigger than me. Yes, this is my story, but this is ministering to people out here. And to be honest, like when I really think about the response that I've received to this project so far, I never envisioned some of these connections that I've made, or some of these relatable moments that I've had with people surrounding these lyrics, surrounding these songs, how much it would touch people. But that's why you have to step outside of yourself and say, you know what? Even though it's not happening the way that I want it to happen, even though it's not happening on my timetable, it still needs to happen. I still need to do it. I still need to move, because God put it on my heart to move. God gave this to me. And if I don't do it, then it's going to go to somebody else. And they possibly can do it even better than me, when at the end of the day, this is my story and nobody can tell it better than me. That's the bottom line. That's the thing that I had to rectify within myself. And that's frankly the message that I leave with you all when it comes to this song. It's not about how long it takes. It's not about how old you are. I'm 42 years old. When I first started recording this project, I was 37. I wanted this project to be out before I turned 40. Well before I turned 40. I didn't want to be 40 years old putting out a debut. But it didn't matter. My age doesn't matter. How long it took to put this out doesn't matter. Perception of, these songs is 5 years old, and honestly older, because frankly, the first song that I even did for this project, I did back in 2010. 2010. So the oldest song on this project is 12 years old. Nobody cares but me. I'm the only one who cares about that. And people who focus on those types of things, people who care about that more than they care about the message, more than they care about the sentiment, more than they care about how these songs are going to resonate with people on the most meaningful levels. That's what's important. That's what people care about, the people who really matter, and that's what God cares about. Because it's about Him. It's about glorifying Him with my music. And I'm not saying I'm like this super duper preachy guy, but at the same time, I do believe that there's a spiritual component to actually stepping out on faith and putting your best foot forward and doing what you were meant to do. And that's the point of this song. You're going to have to move some things out the way. You're going to have to slide some ego to the side. You're going to have to step up out your cool. You're going to have to come up out your fears. You're going to have to do a whole lot of work in order to get to the moment where you can actually appreciate doing something as brave as releasing your music to the world. Because once you release it, it's no longer yours. It belongs to the world. It belongs to the streets. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. And that's with anything. It doesn't have to be music. It can be you starting that business. It could be you leaving that job that you know you're not meant to be at. It could be you stepping out and getting in a relationship that's actually going to be fruitful for you. Or stepping out of one that isn't fruitful for you. Either way. But stepping into whatever it is that your destiny, your calling is, the calling is that's on your life. Time doesn't matter. We as a society have focused way too much on time. And it doesn't matter. And so that's what it's all about with this song. And I'm going to leave it there. So, if you don't have the Late Bloomer, please make sure that you go get it. And while you're at it, while you're at my website, because I'm going to give you one-stop shop for everything. While you're at my website, if you like to get it, you see this hat and this shirt. This is a brand new shirt, y'all. As y'all seen my unboxing or unpackaging video, this is a new shirt. This is from the Late collection. It actually has the last lyric that I mentioned that's from the third verse in the listening party. It has it, I had to realize what shoulder it is. It's on this shoulder, my right shoulder, which says, even if I'm late to the party, I can still dance, but I gotta make it to the party for a real chance. That is on this right shoulder. You can find this shirt this hat, and the Late Bloomer EP on my website, BAMMLLC.net. Once again, that's BAMMLLC.net. Get the music, you can connect, you can get it straight from the website. You can go to your favorite streaming platform, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, Amazon. You can go there, or if you want 4 more songs, count 1, 2, 3, 4 bonus tracks. You can go to my Bandcamp page. You can go to my Bandcamp page from my website, or you can go directly to ajthrowback.bandcamp.com. Get those 4 bonus tracks. Once again, that's ajthrowback.bandcamp.com. And if you are not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you're not already liking, sharing, commenting, be a part of the experience, please make sure that you subscribe right now. Hit that bell notification so that whenever I go live, premiere a new video, post a new video, you'll be among the first to know. And if you are not already following me on social media, please do so ASAP. On Facebook and Twitter, I am at AJ Throwback. And if you are an Instagram and TikTok person, I am on those platforms as well at a.j.throwback. So next week, we are going to break down track number 2 from The Late Bloomer, which is called Leaving Alice. I'm definitely excited to break down that track. I'm excited to break down all these tracks, you know what I mean? Because it's my baby. So definitely looking forward to that. And thank you to everybody who's been watching from the very beginning, whether you've watched episode from the very first episode or you watched a couple of episodes in between. You might be a couple of episodes behind. It doesn't matter. If you watched one episode, I appreciate you. If you bought the album, I appreciate you. If you bought the singles, I appreciate you. All support is welcome, and I'm grateful for it all. So until the next time, right here on the Maximum Sentence, where there's conviction behind the bars, I'm your man AJ Throwback. I'm going to see y'all next Wednesday. Y'all make sure y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week. Enjoy your weekend, and y'all be easy. Peace.
Even if I'm late to the party, I can still dance, but I gotta make it to the party for a real chance. Cause I hate to live with lousy unfulfilled plans. Ain't my fate to live a sloppy, unappealing span.